Okay, so now we are done with our basic setup of React. We set up the Tailwind and Google font also. Now when we done that, I would like to start with creating some reusable component. And the first reusable component I always use in my every project is a container. So let me just create one folder within this component folder. Okay, so let me give it the name of let's say basic. Okay, so any reusable component that we have will be inside this basic component and basic folder, right? So you can name it as you like, but I will just write it basic. And here I like to create a file, right? So the file should named container.tsx. Okay, here you are. So what is container? So container will be just a simple div, and in our design, as you can see, we have some kind of container of same width. Okay, so everything is wrapped around this same size, right, up to here, and this footer, even this header, everything, and in every pages you can see the one size of the container, right? So we're gonna create this reusable component over here. All right, let me move here. Okay, so if see here, I gonna create one container. Let me give this the container, and inside here I should return div, and div, this will have some class name style to it, right? And what else? Okay, and what we have inside this div, so we have to provide the children, right? Okay, so children will be there, and to use these children we have to create a type, right? So type should be like container, oh, container props equals to, okay, we have children. Okay, now what this children type is, this should be React node, right? Okay, like that. And so now to use this prop, we have to go over here, we have to say this should take the children, and children is coming from our container props type, right? Okay, so far good. And let me describe what should be the style for this component, right? So here I think I have to just write some what size of the container we want, right? So usually in my project I use like let's say ESM, and this is the from coming from Tailwind, and this is the screen size breakpoint. Okay, if and this is used to make it the our container responsive to the screen size. So in the ESM's screen size, we gonna say the max width should be like let's say 2 XL, and in a medium we said max width to be, let me, 4XL, I think. Yeah, okay, 4XL should be good enough. Okay, and in a large size, let's say max width should be like 5XL. Okay, and in a large size XL we should be max width should be something like 7 XL. Okay, so this is the size of the container that we want, and let's save it. Okay, and to check this component is working, let me just change this div to the container, right? container. Okay, and add that component, and when we save it, let me show you. Yes, so this red background is up to here, so that means our container is just working. And in the medium screen size it will be full screen, so that's why it's showing full screen. But when we increase our size, we can see there is a space there. But the other thing I want from here is in our container I want it to be like margin X to be like auto, so it should appear in the middle of the skin. So here you gonna see some gaps over here and some gap over here. Also I want some padding on the x-axis, so padding X should be, let's say is 5. Okay, so how much is 5? It's like 20 px. Okay, no problem. Okay, this is working just fine. All right, and that is that, right? Okay, actually this component, whatever we did so far, just works as we want, but I want to make it a little bit dynamic, so that we can change the style of it. We can customize it as we want, right? So to make it a little bit customizable, what I want is okay, first thing I want this padding on the x-axis. Maybe sometimes I don't want the padding, right? So let's say something, okay, let's say something like here I have like X padding, let's say padding, and it's boolean type. Okay, so I have to get that here also, X padding from here, and I can say something like, let's say const padding X equals to X padding. If X padding is true, okay, if X padding is true, then I say X padding is 5, or give return nothing, right? So if it should be empty string if and pass nothing there. But if we want padding, I say the padding is true. Over here I can add the padding true, and then padding is applied, right? Something like that. But how I can use this px over here? For that, actually we need to let me go to our client directory, CLINT, and there is one package name there, it is called tailwind mods, I think, right? So let me just get that tailwind mods, maybe. Yeah, I think this is the one. Okay, here is the one npm package that we can use. This is very helpful package, working while working with the tailwind. And we can just copy this over here and get it over here, just paste it and install it just like that. Okay, now this is installed it, and this, how we can use this one is we can import, right? Import import what we wanna import. Sorry. Okay, tailwind merge is right here. Okay, we can bring it over here, and let me, and in this class name actually, let me just, okay, control X over here. Let me, I need that later, so let me just paste it over here and let's comment it over here. Okay, so here in the class name I can say curly bracket. That means we are going to use the JavaScript, in maybe in this case the TypeScript. So after this curly bracket we can say tailwind merge and the bracket, and then what we can say is we can apply our default okay, default style. So margin X auto is our default style, let me say like that. Okay, and here we can say padding X. Okay, so why we use tailwind merge here? Okay, sometimes what happens is in the tailwind, if you use the some similar classes that contradict with each others, uh, it kind of shows some error, right? So what I mean by that, let me just show it here. Let me just show it here. So here if I say margin X to be 0 and I said margin X again to be 1, see, it's showing the error. Okay, because you one time you said margin X 0 and margin X 1, right, next time, so it contradict with each other and it's showing some error to us. So we are using that so that there will be no contradict classes and there will be no error. Okay, just as simple as that, nothing that complicated. Okay, so let me just get that our previous tailwind maps. Okay, so now what we have is, if, okay, here, like here it's, we are saying getting the error because we haven't provided X padding over here. X padding, if we provided X padding, so you don't have to say equals to true over here. Okay, you can say like this also, or you just can write X padding. That means we provided the X padding, so it will take as a true value. Okay, so if we provide X padding true, then we get the padding on the x-axis, otherwise it will not get any padding on the x-axis. But one thing I also want to add on this one is, I want the X padding to be default. Okay, default. I don't want, if I usually I want to have padding on the x-axis, but if I choose not to have it, then only I want to remove the padding from the x-axis, right? So I want it to be optional. Okay, X padding. So to make that optional, just put the question mark over here. That makes our this attribute optional, and you can say like this, X padding is always like true. Okay, you can provide the default value over here, so we don't have to provide any X padding over here, and even if we don't provide it, that will just work fine, right? It is working, no error. So by default the X padding is always true, and if we don't want any X padding, we can just say X padding false, then it will be removed. So it makes little bit dynamic. And other thing that I want to want this component to be able to add some class name to it. Okay, let me just write it down here, class name. Okay, name, and this class name should be string. And you know what, I want this class name also to be optional. I don't want the user should provide this class name all the time. User means as a developer, we we when we using this component, we can, you know, uh, we shouldn't always provide the class name. If we choose not to provide, it still should work just fine without a error. Okay, just save it, and that class name should also come over here, and we have to add here class name, and this is showing error because we haven't used that class name. So just put it over here like that. So what we did now, we can come over here now, and in the container we can provide now class name, and any class name we provided here will be added over here. And if we provide any conflicting class name, then 10 will merge will make that error go away. Okay, something like that. Okay, now what else on this component? Oh, so I haven't used this size, right? Sizes. Okay, I use over here margin auto and padding 5. Okay, and this is the width of the container, right, according to the size, screen size break point, right? Okay. One thing I want to add on this component is, you know, maybe sometimes I want the container to be little bit smaller or compact size, right? So this is our usual size that we always want to use, but I want to have some side choice. Okay, so what I mean by that, let me show you. So we can say like size. Okay, we can say size, and size can be like full. Okay, this is full size container, or I can say like compact. Okay, compact, right? And this way I can define two sides of the container, and this size also I think should be optional over here, so that, you know, I want the default value of the size to be always full. Okay, so full, so that means the size, if we do not provide any size to the our component, it always take the default value full. Okay, and how I can use this over here? So I can say okay, let me just come over here, and I can say const width, right? Because width, actually, what is this size? Size means just the width, right? We are just defining this width of the, so we can say width, I think. Yeah, so equals to we can say if size is equals to full. Okay, if size is full, then we want to have this size. Let me just delete over from there and just paste it over here, right? Okay, now the second thing I want is, okay, else. Okay, if the size is full, we want this, else this is saying else, and what size I want for the my compact, right? If it's not size is not full, then it can be only with the compact, right? So the compact size for the width will, this width of this container should be, let's say, width full. When it's small size, it should be full size. Okay, and in the emd max width of, let's say, 3xl. So what we give it over here, we give it 4xl, so we're gonna give it over there 3xl. And lg should be like max width of like 4xl. Okay, so we give it here 5xl. We now want, if we say compact, it should be little bit smaller. And let me say XL, that will be max width of 5XL. Okay, and just save it. And the width of this should come over here. We can add here width width, and voila, our component is ready. Okay, container component is ready. And if you don't know, I think I didn't explain much about this syntax, right? So if you haven't seen this syntax, this is called, shorthand method of writing if else statement, right? It's just the if else statement, nothing that fancy. It's just the, shortcut of writing the if else statement. It's just saying something like if x padding, okay, equals to like, let's say, true, and then x padding should be equal to like padding x 5, right? And else px should be equals to empty string. Okay, so this all code we can write in this one line. That's all. If you know this JavaScript, if else statement is saying the same thing, only, little, making it a little bit smaller, right? And if you want to know more about they call it like shorthand method of writing if else statement. So it comes handy sometimes, right? Okay, so this is same as saying this. Okay, so don't be confused. Okay, now the time to test our component, I think. Okay, now I think I provided class name, I provided x ring, and I think that's all I want from this container component. So here, let me check. Now we already did this, so let me check over here. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and what I can say, if I add class name bz, let's say black, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, so we have container, and but from there, just look over here. Okay, and from there, if we want to remove padding, right? So x padding equals to, we have to give this curly bracket because we are using like a JavaScript over there, true. And then no, true should be padding. So if we said false, see, there is no padding. So sometimes if you want, the your container, and here if you put image or something and you don't want any margin over here in that specific container, you have the ability to remove that padding from that side, right? And what else we give it here, we can say like size also, right? So size, we can, by default it's a full size, but if we say COMP8, right? Let me save it. So if we, let me just make it little bit bigger, so it should be of compact side. Did it jump like, okay, let me just make it side by side, right? Okay, let me just do like this, sorry about that. Okay, so here if I say full, I can say full also. See, the width of the container extended. And if you want little bit smaller size a container, you can say compact. Okay, and save it. See, the size of this container, shrink. Okay, so that's how we can create this container reusable component. And usually what I do is, every time I started new project, I always copy my all of my basic uh, component folder, and any component that inside, and bring it to the my new project, and I can reuse it over and over the same file. I do not have to write it every time. So it makes programming a little bit easier, right? The next I would like to create a center component. Okay, so let's just start by creating a file center.tsx. Okay, now similar to the container, uh, not not much difference, just few things are same, right? I have to write here center, and I have to give div here. I have to pass children over here, and what next? I can add class name over here, and for these children to work, actually I need to create a type, right? Okay, so type, what should be the type? Center props, let's say props. Okay, this will be here, and in this one I have to say children. And what these children? This children is React node. Okay, here, and like that. And the next thing I have to do here is I have to get that class, the children over here, children, and then this children is coming from this center props, right? Okay, that's all. Okay, now I also want to be able to add a class name to that div. So but this class name will be optional, and then it will be string in type, right? And I have to get that class name over here. All right, and I can use this class name here, but for that we need to import tailwind merge, right? After we import tailwind merge, we can use that over here within the curly bracket, tailwind merge, another bracket over here, and I can X the class name over here. Okay, so what next? Okay, let me just explain a little bit about the center component. Okay, and as you know, you can understand from the name also. So the what this center component do is, this center component will act as a like a container, and whatever we provide the element with to these children, that will be should be center. And as however we like it to be center, it will be center. So let me show with the example, so that will make more sense, I guess. Okay, let me just save this. Okay, and let me just go to here, and here in this one I can say center. Let me just import this one, and this should have children, so let me put that h1 over here. Okay, and let me just add another child to it, so I can show you example. Okay, so like, and should be CRI. Okay, something like that. Okay, but I don't like this background here, and actually I don't like this one also, right? Let me just remove from here. Okay, but the I want some class name to it, and let me just say, let me give little bit height to it. What should be the height? Let me just give it 96. I think that's the height that I can. Oh yeah, okay. What else I want? Give me little bit of color to it, so that we can see it easily. Let me give this one. Okay, all right. Now, okay, so center will be this container. Okay, we can provide height and that all that, but that is not important. But what we want to to achieve from the center component is I want the way that I say it to have a vertically center, this one, this element, I can center it, or anything, however I like to be this center these elements, I should be able to center it. Okay, maybe if I want to center it over here, I can should be able, I can center over here vertically or horizontally. Okay, so to center the elements, what we can do, so nowadays is very easy actually, that's not difficult, we can use many method, but the method that I will like to use on this project is, let's say here I can say what we need, let's say flex, right? So we can use flex to make it center. Okay, so and you might notice that the element, this h1 element and this h2 element move from vertically to the this side, the in the x-axis. That means this is we are getting from, I think, flex, I think default is flex row in the flex, and we will get this behavior. But if we say flex call, oh yeah, see, this moved over here, so we should be able to put the direction over here also in case we need that. Okay, and the other thing that we can do is, so in either way we want sometimes is to be vertically center or the horizontally center, right, or the completely center. So how we can do it, we can say justify center. Okay, as you can see, when we say justify center, the element within this div has change its position to the vertically center. But I want you to notice, remember one thing, this one, if we change it to the row, the direction of the flex to the row, the behavior of the centering is changed. So before, when I say justify center, it was vertically center, right? But if I change the direction, now this justify center will center our element on the x-axis, like in a horizontally. So you just remember this flex row, that means flex direction row in the CSS. Okay, will have impact on how we can center by this justify center. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, so also we can say like justify center and items, I think center. Okay, yeah, now this is the way we can completely center the element within this div. So we want to use this center every time, if we want to center anything, we want to use this component. Now I want to make this center component little bit dynamic, so as I said earlier, I want sometimes it to be vertically center or horizontally center or however I like. So to do so, I think we need to say, let's say what we can say, we need the direction, as I said earlier, direction, and another thing is our default classes, that is justify center or item center, something like that, right? So first thing is the most important thing is, okay, what type of center we want. So let me just say center type, I think this will make more sense. Or what type means, either we want vertically center or we may want horizontally center, okay, or completely center, okay, in the middle. So let me just, I can say just center. So the center means completely center at the center, or B center means it should be vertically center, and horizontally center, it should be horizontally center over here, okay, on the different axis, right? And that is what I want. And to define this flow, what I can say, okay, I can say flow, which direction of flow I want. uh, you can say row or column also. Okay, I think that makes more sense because this one is using, actually this flex row is using row and column direction. Okay, and this flex is defining that. But the row and column make me little bit confused sometimes. So I think I can say side, right? Flow is on the side or on the up or down, I can say that. Or I can also say maybe vertically. Oh, vertical or horizontal. I think this will make more sense to me. So you can change however you like. If you don't like this way, you can give another name. Okay, that's for your understanding. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to make these also optional, because I want to give the default value to the type and flow. So type default value should be center, see, enter center, comma over here. Okay, center, because if I say I just use this center component, it should be keep all the element to completely at the center. That's all I want. Okay, and the flow, and as I say earlier, the flow is actually default. I think flex row is default, so that means horizontal. Okay, so horizontally it is should be center, and it is the default behavior also. Okay, just saved it. Okay, and how can I use this flow? I can use this flow to, I can remove this flex row from here. Okay, and here I can also say, I can say, let's say flow, if flow equal to horizontal, that means we need flex row, right? Okay, that is the default behavior, and we're gonna give, oh, I need to say if that is true, I have to say this question mark over here. And if horizontal, if flow is not horizontal and if it's a vertical, I want to say it's the flex is col, and save it. What is happening, I forget the comma over here, nothing. Yes, yeah. And this is working. So what it's saying is, if flow is horizontal, if I provide the flow as horizontal, it will apply this flex row class, and that means flex direction row. Otherwise, apply this one. The problem with this code is, I think I shouldn't use this over here, because I should separate it somewhere here. Because I don't want my logic to be on this class name inside my class, so I want to separate my logic, right? So let's say const, and what is flow? Flow is direction, direction. Okay, direction equals to, and let me, they say work smart not hard, so let me just copy it. Okay, let's paste it over here, and that's it. And I can say here direction. So I just, you can do as I did before, but I just want to separate the logic from there. That makes more sense, I guess. Okay, then this means I have a ability to change the flow. Okay, and I see here 1 year. Okay, I haven't used that type, so let me check if I can do that or not here. So I can say flow, which direction of flow is right now, it's horizontal, right? So horizontally is flowing on that horizontally, so I can say vertical, and now it should see I can change the flow of it, but still I can make this element center however I like. Okay, now the next thing I want is I want to provide these classes on the basis of this type. Okay, right, on the basis of type. If I want vertically center, maybe I just want justify center, and it might depends on the flow also, right? It depends on the type and flow. So for that, I think I should create a function that return the class appropriate class name uh, according to the type and flow we provide. So for doing that, I think we can say const what we are getting from that. We are getting these classes. So what these classes represent? Okay, let's just say this is a default class. You default style, not default class. Style equals to I can say set style, and I'm going to create this function set style. And what this set style should get, it should get two things, right? So first is type, and the second thing is flow. I think that is what we need. And then I can come over here and I can say const set style equals to, I can say I get two parameters over here that will be type and flow, and this will be arrow function, and I think that is what I need. But here it says the type is any, right? But I don't want that, right? I want this type to be related to this type, right? It should be the same type of this, and the flow should be the same type of this. And in TypeScript, how we can make sure that it is getting the right type is, I can say something like let's say I can say center props. I'm getting it from the center props, and this should be of type. Let me check now. Yeah, now the type is v type, s type, and center. Now the similar thing I can do it over here also, center props, and then I can say this is a type of flow, right? Okay, got it. Now over here what it will do is I can say if type equals to let's say center. Okay, if center, I don't mind what flow is it, which direction of flow is it on the flex. It doesn't matter because I am going to return both classes, and that will be in either if the flow is row or column. I just need to provide this class, right? Justify center, right? Okay, and items center. I think that is what I need to put it over there. I think that is what, and then I can remove this actually, and it should work just like that before. Okay, now it gone over from there because I haven't used this default class from here. After direction, I think I need to provide over here default style. Yes, now you see it's working as we intend because it is getting these classes from that default style. Now I need some other things from here, and that will be if flow, right? Now it depends on the flow, right? Okay, if flow is kind of, what is flow? So I have two kind of flow. So if flow is equals to vertical, I need something to be written over there, and or if flow is horizontal, I can say else now, right? Because it's already saying flex vertical. Or let me make it just simple and just we can see what is what next time. So I think it doesn't matter that much, so let me just write it over here. Okay, so I need to have two class return on the basis of flow, and I think in the basis of type also, right? If type equals to, now if type is center is, we already did it, right? There is, this one is already done, and then now there is another two types. One is vertical type and other is, and I want here else statement also. I hope it is making sense to you guys. So I'm just doing if and else statement, and I can do it in the short way also, but this way I think it is much easier to read and much easier to understand, I guess. And I am trying not to nest too many if else statement also, but I think so far it is understandable. Okay, now type can be here also, same thing, right? In a horizontal, if we say vertical, I want something else. If it's, I could have copy paste those things, but I am trying to not make anybody confused, or not make confuse myself also. So let me just did that, and let me think. Okay, so if the flow is on the vertical, that means right now it is on the vertically, right? So the flex is on the direction of the column, and we want it to be vertically center over here also, right? So if the flow is vertical and type is vertically center, I think we need to have the class is return justify center. I think we need to return justify center. Otherwise, if if the flow is vertically center and the type is horizontally center, so flow is similarly, but it should be on here, then we have to put return items center. I think that's all I need to do, and it will be reverse on over here. I think that's is what I need to do. So let's say items center over here, and let's say return, and you don't have to do this over and over again, right? Next time you don't have to remember this logic. You just copy your put this file somewhere and bring it to your next project, right? You can use this in all of your projects. So that's the power of the reusable components. So let's save it. Now time to check. If flow is vertical and I want to say type is vertically center, will it get it? Let's see. Yes, see, so within this component it is flow is vertically flowing and vertically center, but even if I change this, it should be vertically center. That's all what we was trying to build it, right? So flow is horizontal, right? No, I didn't spell that correctly, I think. Okay, what is the spelling? I think I spelled wrong over there. Okay, let me check. What is the spelling of horizontal here? So I think horizontal have the to have horizontal. Is that the spelling? Let me check. Let me Google. Yes, horizontal, right? Yeah, I did right. Okay, so this is should be horizontal. Here should be horizontal now. And where is anything wrong? Over here. Okay, save it. I think I there is one more error. Oh, yeah. Okay, just saved it. Let me check it. And horizontal. I think that's the way, right? Okay. See, so anyway, we can want it vertically centered. It's we get it. So this should be horizontally center. See, this is horizontally center on this side, and if we change this flow to vertical, right? Yes, we are getting it. And if we do not provide any of these, it should still be center, right? That's the default behavior. And completely center. And if you want to just change the flow of it, you can say flow direction should be vertical, right? See, it's just working as we want, and this component will make our life very easier. Trust me on this one, because we have to do this over and over again, and every time you have to write this 5 7 classes all the time, right? So you have to say flex, justify center, item center in multiple times. You just now write center component, now it's already done there. And we have the ability to add the class name over here, and we can style it also. And it's very dynamic. And I think before ending this video, I want to do, or I want to show you something over here. Okay, maybe sometimes, let me say, maybe sometimes I want to put the style, right? But right now I cannot do that. Okay, I cannot do that because this doesn't has a prop called style, right? and and this style should be, should be able to put it over here on the div, right? Anything we have to uh, prop that is related to div should be included. If you want to make that happens, you can also say react here, and I think it's called component props. Okay, component props, and we says and. So what is this? Okay, it's asking some. Okay, so what component props we want for? We want the component props for div. Okay, that's how. So now our type has extended this, all of this, uh, props that we can use in the div, right? Now the next thing we can do is we can come over here. Okay, and anything that we haven't specified here, like we specify children, type, flow, or class name, anything that doesn't, we do not provide the name over there, we can say like this props, and it will spread over here. For using that, yes, and it should get all that it is getting ref key, and all that prop we are getting from this will be here. And where we can use that, we can use that on this div. We can provide the curly bracket and just spread that props to here. So any types prop we are getting from this div, we can use in the div, is we are using over here. Now if we save this, now I think you can use the style over here, right? Yeah, you can use the style or any attribute that you can use in the div, you can use it over here as a prop. Okay, I think that's all for this reusable component video. The next we will start with the, I think, with the navigation nav bar. And we can create more of this reusable component, but the thing is, it will be a little bit confusing if we create component only first. But we want to dive into our project, and as the project progress, we want to create others reusable component that is relevant to our project. Okay, all right, for this video then.